Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. And if you're listening in the podcast, thank you so much for being here. It is June 22nd, 2022. I'm here to do a follow-up update on the missing Titanic tourist submarine, or they call it Titan, that was missing since Sunday, the 18th of June 2023. And this afternoon at 3 o'clock Eastern time this afternoon, they gave an update, and it's a sad news. When I came here, I did my previous video 2 days ago. I say let's keep the family in prayer, and I think we should continue to do that. And I'm here to do an update because the update from the Coast Guard was that they found the debris. Yesterday they were saying they heard noises every half an hour, and today, they run out of oxygen, I believe, by 1 o'clock today. And at 3 o'clock today, they confirmed that the debris from the Ocean Gate vessel that was taking those 5 people was found near the Ocean Sea ground, right? Near the Titanic. And they confirmed that was the vessel that was used, and all of the people aboard, of course, were deceased. We learned so much about this, and please don't mind my background. As you can see, I'm in my home as I am making room once again for JulissaDesigns, and you can see my dress form back there, if you're watching this on YouTube. But speaking about this story, it is so sad, right? And there's so many things that we learn from a story like this, right? But before I tell you my thoughts, where my thoughts are on this, let me just read to you guys a little bit of this article, right? With the official story that came out, right? It says here, the 5 people aboard the submersible that has been missing for days were killed when the small vessel carrying them to the Titanic wreckage site has been a catastrophic implosion, the Coast Guard said Thursday afternoon. Like I said, at 3 o'clock today, I was watching the live conference, press conference live from the Coast Guard, and it was very brief. These people, they're not going to, it's already hard on them, right? Because there's, this vessel that was created to go down to the Titanic, 12,000 feet under the sea, right? It has not really been like officially approved. And there's a lot of waivers that they had to sign just to get on it. And besides all of that, the high ticket price of $250,000. So the Coast Guard was very limited on what they say. They explain what they found and what they believe the end was for these 5 people. And then they took like 2 questions, and then they went off. They were not receiving any more questions, nothing like that. So let me see. A little bit. I'm going to tell you a little bit what the Coast Guard said earlier today. The debris is consistent with the catastrophic implosion of the vessel. The Rear Admiral John Mauger, commander of the 1st Coast Guard District, said in the news conference, the debris that was found 1,600 feet from the Titanic, but on the seafloor, was too early to tell when the Titan imploded. The Coast Guard will continue investigating with remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs. Okay, I think it's sad that these people to that were in that vessel, right? The 5 of them, right? Probably thought this was gonna be a one in a lifetime opportunity. They have the money, they can afford it, right? And I just heard somebody say, they actually paid $250,000 to die, right? And aside from all the theories and the so many things that we can think about, right? About conspiracy theory, and like how is this is so impossible that people are going to be sitting in such a small space without being able to move for 8 hours to go see something on a screen, right? That already had been, people that tried to do that already had issues with it, right? This is not the first time this has happened where there was an issue with the vessel going down to see the Titanic, right? And the Titanic also on its own is such a tragic story, right? A story that tempted God, right? They say nobody can sink this ship, not even God. There's something that came out of that story. I don't have the exact details about it, right? But I know we hear that from when they created the original Titanic. Obviously, I'm not talking about the movie. They say, somebody say nobody can sink this ship, not even God. And it's a temptation, they're tempting the Lord, right? And your fanatism to and your passion to goes beyond that, right? This is why, when I speak about following celebrities and all of that, we have to be so careful how this world makes you kind of like convert fanatism into passion, and then eventually it leads you to idol worship, right? You can see a TV show in uh, you see a TV show, let's just say, right, and you fall in love with one of the characters, and you follow them on social media, and then you buy their posters, and you eat what they eat, you want to go to the places where they go, and that all of that leads you to worship. And what do we see now, right? We see people being fantasized with movies, right? They get fantasized with TV shows, right? They want to go see where this is filmed. They want to go see where this movie has been filmed. They make the lines in the theaters days before the movie is released. All of this idol worship is it's almost like, we're so invested into this fictional story. And I understand the Titanic's a real thing, but I'm speaking about other stuff. And they're like so into it, right? So much so that this passion can turn into idol worshiping, and they have a dream to one day, just be in the actual thing, right? There's so much footage on the internet of the Titanic. There are museums, exhibitions, right? There we have the movie that's like 3 hours long. There's so much on the Titanic, and it's such a tragic story, right? um and to which is on, right? People can do, if they have the money, people, you do what, you do what you want, right? We have free will in this life, right? You answer to God at the end of your life. But I'm just saying, like, you know you sometimes you think about the survivors of the Titanic, right? And the people that perish in the Titanic, and they're probably, in that moment, they probably thought, what did they thought about their life, right? In that moment when they saw this whole thing. A lot of the people that went to the Titanic actually used all their life savings to get on that ship, to go find a better life. And all the dreams were broken into a ship at the end of the day that is not even, your safety is not found on things made by men, right? So you think about this obsession that people have with Titanic. In its time when the movie came out, I think I was in high school or something like that. Yes, at one point, that's all people talked about, right? um but I'm saying, like, this obsession to be in the Titanic, even though the Titanic was taken down immediately on his first trip, right? And this desire to go and be there, even though, like, it's almost like everything that has been put out about the Titanic was not sufficient. So if I have the money to go, I'm gonna go, right? I'm gonna risk my life to go see that, right, through a computer screen. Or get myself into a vessel that's not even 100% safe, right? And what I was saying on my previous video, my previous episode about this whole thing, it's like, to me, it didn't seem like millionaires, people who can make money like that, they don't make decisions like this. It just doesn't make sense to me. like it's still, I understand the outcome of this, right? They all perished, right? That's what the Coast Guard just said. That's what I just read to you. But it's almost like I don't understand really. Like really, they really make the decision, a father and a son together, paying $500,000 to get into this vessel. There's no like like I put the example of Kobe Bryant and his wife. They always say we don't travel together because if one of those, if we get into an accident, one of us die, we don't want our kids to be alone, right? So look what happened to Kobe Bryant, right? So it's like, it's just, it makes you wonder, like really these people, this billionaire decided to do that instead of saying, hey, I'm going to give you $500,000 to invest on something more secure, more roomy, right? I'm gonna give you $500,000 right now, so you can upgrade this vessel to come up with something that's more secure to take us down there eventually, and then, upgrade your company, right? And use the money. And I want to invest in your company because we're so fascinated with Titanic. Here's $500,000, invest in your company, and then we can make our money back. Maybe you can start doing tours when you make this whole vessel more secure, and lower the price, and you get more people with, they want to go see that. But they risked all of that and they paid to do that. That's the part that I don't understand. And we can speak about this all day, right? But anyways, right, like I said, to which is on, $250,000 can really feed a lot of people in need, can really change somebody's life right now. And like I said, if they have the money, and that's what they want to do, God gives us free will, right? And then there's something else that's happening in the world with this whole story about the Titanic submersible, is that people have no respect these days for life anymore. Like, this is another example that we are living in the last days. I go on Twitter to get, I've been going on Twitter to get updates about the whole story, yesterday, the day before, and all of that. And I Titanic has been trending on Twitter since this whole thing started, right, on Sunday. And it's like, to go on Twitter, to go on TikTok and see so many memes, so many jokes, so many reels jokingly about this whole thing. And like, what is going on? Like, at the end of the day, there's five people created in the image of God who were missing, and now look what the outcome is of these people who have families, who have wives and kids, and they have brothers and sisters and cousins and families, and people are missing them right now. And this world is just, the majority, obviously, because the videos that are getting the most popularity are people making fun of the whole situation. It's just like, wow, the love of many will grow cold, just like the Bible says. People will have no regards, like, it's just, well, I'm not paying $250,000 to go see the Titanic, so I don't really care. This is not affecting me immediately, so I don't care. It's so crazy to see that, right? So that's something that, just to point out that we learn from this whole story, the sad outcome of this whole Titanic submergible story, the tourist story. It's so sad. Another thing that I see is just, like I told you guys all the time, right? Life is unpredictable. Anything can happen, right? And you sometimes, people say, oh yeah, I'll start going to church when I'm older. I'm too young to do that. Or I want to enjoy my life, right? That's what people say. I want to enjoy my life, right? Because they think Christians, we don't know how to have fun, nothing like that, right? um but it's like your life can change in a blink of an eye. you know get right with God. Get yourself right with God. Life, one day we're here, one day we don't know, right? I'm sure these people that went down in that submersible, they were, they had plans for July, let's just say, right? They had plans for many things for the future. I'm sure with the kind of money that they have, and I'm saying this is because of not everybody can afford that, right? Not your average person. And if people are people who can afford that, the $250,000, they're not gonna really spending on that, right? They'll be like, okay, send me a video of it. I'll pay for the video or some high quality video of your tour or something. But anyways, right? Another thing that we learn is that at the end of the day, guys, life is fragile and all we have is God. No money in this earth can buy your safety, your health, nothing, right? Nothing. Because when, just as the Titanic, right? Like I said, there was a lot of separation on the Titanic, people with, in everything these days, right? Lower class, higher class, whatever, right? When there is a need for a savior, we realize that we're all the same, basically. It's just we're all humans made in God's image with different bank accounts, right? We're all, and society classifies you according to how much you make, right? People in your circle do the same thing, right? There are people who get surprised that you have this or you have the other. Believe it or not, people put you in a category and they don't expect you to get out of that category, right? They think you're just gonna be in this level, right? So when they see you growing up in life and achieving things and earning more money, they're like, what, how did that happen, right? They put you in categories, and I think this is the culture of classification. I always say it's so interesting that I'm thinking about this. Yeah, I always say, you guys know I'm from the Dominican Republic, but I always say to myself, man, I never knew I was Dominican until I came to this country, because it's such a, everywhere you go, like, "Oh, you have an accent, where you from?" Like, you go to the airport and like, country of origin, right? You always have to put, you're always being classified everywhere you go. You're being classified. You're being put into this bucket. At the end of the day, we're all God's creation, created in His image, right? And no money in this world is gonna satisfy the soul of man. No money in this world, is gonna give you what God is, where you have to surrender your life to God, right? There's so many people who are rich and are so lost in life, are so sad, and sometimes you see from the outside, man, those people probably had the high life. Who knows what their mental health was, right? Who knows, maybe this was going to be like something to for them to achieve, to feel better about their current situation in life, right? You have to remember also, this happened on Father's Day, on June 18th, and to see that there was a father and her son together. I think their last name was Dawood, something like that. To see that there was a father and a son together, I see some type of gift that was given, right? And, you know, being Father's Day, I'm assuming, it has to be, I don't know, cause I think the kid was 19, so I don't know if he was able to be like, "Oh, Dad, I'm gonna buy you $250,000 ticket to go down the Titanic with me on Father's Day." But I'm just saying, like, maybe it was the dad just saying, I'm gonna give myself this Father's Day gift, but I'm gonna do it with my son or something. I don't know. Maybe it was the wife who gave that to both of them or something, right? I don't know the details, but all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, aside of the money, of the classification that people want to put you in as, at the end of the day, we're all humans, right? And to see how many people are creating memes and making fun of them, right? There's so much content of making this situation into a big joke, a big comedy act, a big look at them losers, or look at them, why would they do that? It is so sad to see that, but that tells you how where society is these days, right? It tells you that this is why when you go in New York and you know you see attacks in the subway or something, nobody wants to do anything. What they want to do? the minute they see something getting crazy, they get their phones out, right? When I was in New York in September for New York Fashion Week, I actually got almost attacked. Thanks be to God that I was able to stop this guy. I was in Grand Central. I remember just coming out of the hotel and I'm waiting for my food outside of Shake Shack. And here comes this tall man straight trying to hit me in my face. I was surrounded by people. He came to me, and thanks be to God, like I said, I was able to stop him. I was so quick and aware of my surroundings that I went, "Whoa, what are you doing?" But and then he ran off, right? So that was his intention. But believe it or not, I was surrounded by people, and people say, "Oh, what did you expect? New York, nobody's gonna do anything." But New York, that thing about, oh yeah, you're in this city, so that's usually how it happens. It's been happening everywhere these days. People don't want to help anymore. They just want to get their phones out so they can record you in your moment of need, right? Instead of creating like prayer change about this whole situation, people were out there on the internet making fun of them, right? And blaming the stepson of one of the billionaires that was in there, saying that he went to a Blink 182 concert. Like, come on, everybody's dealing with something, right? So, and people get their anxiety one way or the other, right? Like for me, people say, "Oh, go for a walk." Not everybody wants to go for a walk when they feel anxious, right? Not everyone wants to just um sit. I tend to just listen to music, or especially worship music, right? Or I gotta go around, drive somewhere around, and find my spot. I go to this place, I see the water, and just seeing the water, and going to near the lake, I'm like, this is so beautiful. And it's almost a reminder how that God is in control. Look how big this lake is, and how everything, the sun and everything, and the trees and all of that. Or I'll pray, pray about it or something like that. But everybody's different. So if this steps on to get this type of stress out, he's gonna go to a concert. That doesn't mean he wished the worst for his family. That doesn't mean, that he was just, I'm gonna go celebrate because now I'm gonna be rich by inheritance or something. Nothing like that. You know, the pure thinks about pure things, and the evil thinks about evil things. There's something about similar to what I just said in the Bible. Um, for the pure, everything is pure, right? For the evil, everything is evil. It's just that sometimes you have to give people the benefit of the doubt, right? Not everything is as you see it. Okay, people see, like I can get into this because people assume a lot of stuff about me, so I can really get into this subject about assumption and believing something that is not. But always remember it and give people the benefit of the doubt, because when you're on that other side of situation, because life is like that. Life repeats itself, right? Just because you're not going through something right now doesn't mean you're not going to experience it later on in life. So give people the benefit of the doubt, give people compassion, grace, understanding, because you don't know, like everybody's dealing with something, right? And don't jump to conclusions so fast, and don't put people into categories so fast, right? It is sad news. I actually this afternoon around 1 o'clock, when I heard, they have like 40 minutes of oxygen or something, I was like, man, Jesus, I pray for all of them. I pray for all of them. And God knows why things happen. I think learning from this and from the actual story of the Titanic, people should leave the Titanic where the Titanic ended, okay, on its first trip, and just don't come back. One last thing that we can learn from this story is, besides everything else I said, was also, you know, 12,000 feet under the sea. Like, That is amazing. I'm talking about the sea right now, not what actually happened. I'm saying about the power of God, man. If this is here on earth, guys, imagine what we're gonna see in heaven. Imagine all of that, right? And then you think about Jesus walking in water and all of that. But like I say, everyone, prayers to the family, everyone who was affected by this. And let's pray for this earth, for society the way it is these days, that God forbid we joke about something that is bringing others to tears. People were praying for them, people were crying, their family were crying probably for them. God forbid he finds us laughing about something that it brings is bringing people to tears. We gotta check ourselves sometimes, We gotta check ourselves and check our intentions and think that, just because I'm with the majority, we're all making fun of them like nobody's gonna see me. You know, everything's, God sees everything. Nothing escapes the eyes of the Lord. So just remember that. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming back to my channel and listening in the podcast. Have a great day, everyone. God bless.